So I see the PLP trolls and vermin all over the social media in a frenzy, sprinkling PLP salt about the FNM resignations. But that's because they aren't used to a government that has transparency and accountability. They're hoping that you forget the anything goes Christie administration, where no minister was ever fired or made to resign. They're hoping that you forget how V. Alfred Gray interfered in the judicial system just to have his upstanding young Hully Gully gangster constituent released from custody. They're hoping that you forget how Perry Christie abused his position as prime minister to call a bank to tell them not to foreclose on his boy's $1 million beachfront property, all while thousands of Bahamians struggle to pay their mortgage.
Christie came under heavy fire when he revealed that he intervened to help save the home of cash-strapped value-added tax consultant Ishmael Lightbourne. In the House of Assembly last month, Christie said he was acting as Prime Minister when he called CIBC First Caribbean International Bank to stop Lightbourne's home from being repossessed. Some have called that an abuse of power.
The PLP wants you to forget how Alison Maynard Gibson, whilst Attorney General, was negotiating the Bahama deal, all whilst her daughters had an interest in Bahama and her husband had an interest in Bahama. They want you to forget how, whilst Attorney General, Alison Maynard Gibson got a nully prosecute for her own client so that they wouldn't be charged. They want you to forget how they used Jerome Fitzgerald to not prosecute Maynard's clients, and how Damian Gomez, who was actually the Deputy Attorney General, saw what was coming down the pipeline and had enough sense to skip town. Which brings us to the worst culprit of all, Jerome Fitzgerald. If ever there was ever a government minister in the history of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas that should have resigned or been fired, it's this man. Fitzgerald should have tendered his resignation when he illegally read the private emails of Save the Bays in Parliament. Or he should have tendered his resignation when his mother was handed that NIB deal. Or when we discovered that he was trying to shake down Ismarillion on behalf of his father's brokerage company. Yeah, remember that? When Fitzgerald was trying to fleece one of the nation's largest foreign investors?
Just 1 year after he read the private emails of Save the Bays members in Parliament, Marathon Member of Parliament Jerome Fitzgerald had his emails to Bahamar developer Sarkis Ismarillion printed in the Tribune newspaper. The emails showed that Fitzgerald sought to lock down Bahamar contracts, which would have gotten his family's company some big bucks.
The story included alleged email correspondence between Fitzgerald and former Bahamar developer Sarkis Ismarillion, where it is alleged the cabinet minister reportedly sought to secure millions of dollars in brokerage, trucking, and limousine contracts at Bahamar. In one email released by the Tribune, Fitzgerald seeks to solidify a relationship between China State Construction and Bahamas Cargo Limited for BCL, a company owned by Fitzgerald's family, to collect paperwork and clear shipments for the resort. In another email dated May 18, 2013, Fitzgerald writes Ismarillion requesting a brokerage contract. He writes, as indicated, we are ready to start brokerage and trucking for the Bahamar project and remain the brokers after opening. I would really appreciate it if we could be appointed your official broker for June 2013. This is just the latest scandal to rock the Christie administration involving Fitzgerald. The MP was embroiled in controversy last year after he read the private emails of Save the Bays members in Parliament, and a year before that, the report on the Marathon Rubis fuel spill.
Oh, but we can't forget about Brave and the infamous burning down of Bamsey. One disgruntled construction worker didn't get paid on time, so he burns down a Bamsey dorm, which, as it turns out, was not insured, costing us taxpayers millions. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Philip Brave Davis, the man now seeking to be Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, went in front of Parliament and told a bold-faced lie that Bamsey had been insured, but the insurance had lapsed. And then we came to find out the truth, which is that Bamsey was never insured, and they approved the project without proof of insurance.
At the contract signing, the contractor had everything that was required to contract with my ministry, including contractors' all-risk insurance. However, because of the delay and the fact that the contractor failed to pay the annual premium, the insurance coverage lapsed.
So the lie detector test determined that was a lie.
The Works Minister reveals the Bamsey dorm was never insured and will cost over $5 million to rebuild. Deputy Prime Minister Philip Davis has confirmed that Bamsey's male dormitory, which was severely damaged by fire in January, was never insured. This revelation contradicts comments Davis made in Parliament 2 weeks ago when he said the contractor had all-risk insurance when he signed the BAMSI contract, but his insurance lapsed following construction delays. Davis now says the project's contractor only presented an insurance quote and not actual proof of insurance.
When ministers admit that they've made mistakes like this, the minister offers his resignation.
In this instance, Bannister says that minister is Deputy Prime Minister Philip Davis, who admitted yesterday that the BAMSI dorm set afire in January was never insured and would cost $5.5 million to rebuild.
So before Philip Davis even fixed his face to try to ask the Bahamian people to be Prime Minister, he need to dig in his pocket, find that $5 million, and put it back in the Treasury.